Howdy y'all, welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time we play a little Minecraft. Oh man, uh, we had a long D&D session today. Um, well, I think we got started a little bit later, so maybe it was just as long today as it was last week, but I feel like we got less done this week, because it's hard to play D&D when the people you're playing with have small, unruly children. And, yeah, so there's a lot of breaks to go chase down monster childs. And, yeah, I thought we had pretty good. I talked a little bit about this before, but I was really looking forward to the session today because I'm a huge fan of monster horror movies, and um, I decided to run a monster. I mean, I guess all of D&D is monster horror, but um, I wanted to run this monster horror game, and we didn't get as far into it. And I did rush one element, so I'm going to be changing things up. But they kept saying, "Oh, we gotta quit after this. We gotta quit after this," and then we'd finish something. They'd be like, "All right, what happens next?" It was almost 9 o'clock before we finished, and we started at like 3. And so, yeah, we started off, and as I've mentioned before, they're basically members of a guild that hunts vicious things outside of the bounds of the city that they're headquartered out of. And so I've been working my way toward a war with another species that they're going to be involved in. And so I haven't quite decided why there's a war, but we're leading up to it. And so they got out there today, and we're headed toward a place that I called McCready's, which is the name of a character in a horror movie. And I need to add a Ripley in here somewhere too. But so they got going, and they got attacked by gnolls, which are dogmen, and they were going through that pretty easy. So I touched up the difficulty a notch, and they got through that okay. And when they got through that, that was when they started saying, "Oh, I'm gonna have to go soon. I'm gonna have to go soon." And then we proceeded to play for like 2 more hours. But they made it to McCready's outpost. Right. And so when they got in McCready's outpost, they had to deal with well, I mean, they talked to the McCready guy, and after talking with him and talking to various people, they found out that there were gnolls in the area attacking people, and but something else was also attacking people, and so they they actually got introduced to a character who had been infected because these creatures infect you. What color is that? That's gray, right? And then after you've been infected, you eventually turn into one of them. And so it's a bit like Aliens, but it's set in a uh, huh. It's set in a outpost that's in the middle of a blizzard, so you can't get out. And so now they're trapped in this outpost that's been buried under snow. And my sister, she straight up recognized the name of the guy, and she's like, "No, no, we're not." I'm like, "Oh, yes, we are." And so she's like, "I am freaked out, and we haven't even got to the place yet." And so we get in there, and they're talking to people, and one of the people's like, uh, they're like, "Yeah, we were talking to some of the people who got attacked, and they told us that they couldn't see what it was, but it came, sliding out of nowhere and attacked them. And I don't know why I just headed for that. I didn't actually use the gray dye I just made, um, but they didn't know what it was, and they couldn't see what it was, and they said that they come out at night. They mostly come out at night, mostly." And then she just gives me this look because that's another. Uh, oh, dude, that's totally not my plan. I just screwed up my own plan here. Dang it. I need sand. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We'll work with it. And great dye and gravel. Okay, there we go. And so hopefully this looks all right with the color that's not anywhere else in the building, but I think it'll be okay. Um, just some kind of little design. I'll decide if I like that color, if I want to change the color here. I wish I could reach that a little easier. Oh, good. Let's suffocate ourselves. Although that will let me reach this easier. Yeah, not enough. Okay. You know what I want to do is let's put in some. Should have put this in before I did this, but let's put in some windows maybe. And but yeah, so they made it to the place, and I'm like, oh, and the blizzard is basically a whiteout at this point. It's coming down so hard you can't see anything. And so when they got up in the morning, the place is just buried. But they had met this guy who had been injured, and he was bandaged, and there were other people bandaged, and while they were there, another person came in and talked to the guy, and McCready, um, and he was like, "Oh man, they got to us, and there wasn't anything we could do," and uh, so they didn't know what was going on. But okay, I think I need some. I think I want some light gray concrete now. Is what I need. Uh, if I remember correctly, these last two spots don't work. So I need to block the water from flowing out because it's annoying. Last two spots. And so they oh man, I should have brought the repair materials for my roof. So they get in there, and the healer actually cast a heal spell on the guy, and so they're going along with whatever's going on. And where's my switch to turn this on? There you are. Something strange is happening here. Did we fix this yet? Yeah, okay, I think it's working now. There we go. Not exactly sure what went down there, but it was weird. Ow. And so they start asking around, and they talk to the various people who are sitting in the bar, and and so they don't know what's going on, right? Of course, it's all weird and strange, and probably better if I just went ahead and but I don't think I can. I can. I need to use a block that won't fall. And then that way I can just go ahead and have these go through as well. I made some changes to my setup here, and I haven't fixed it yet, and they need to be fixed. I just ain't done it yet. And so, ooh, I don't like that guy hanging around out here. Get out of here. So yeah, so they talk to the different people and they heal the guy. Oops. Need that water to stop. And then they go to bed for the night. And they didn't get any real information other than a brief description, maybe, of what the thing looked like. But what they don't know is that some of the things can shape change. And so they look like people. And and basically it just takes a poke from a claw to infect someone. Um, and so they don't know how many people are infected at this point. They don't know the way the infection spreads. Uh, I'm not going to have them infected because they're pretty low level. So I don't want to infect my newbie people right off the bat. But so they, let me think what I did. So they hear the guy screaming in the morning, and it wakes them up. Who is the guy that got healed the night before, but he was infected, and healing does not cure an infection. They don't know how to cure the infection. Um, so they don't have the ability to cure an infection at this point either. I think it takes a fairly high-level cleric to do something about it. And so that'll be interesting to see how that goes down. All right, so in here, what I got is I want to put in some shelves to hold the wool, the raw wool that they're going to use, the spindles of thread. And then probably have the actual machine maybe here. And okay, and so then we need it to come up here, and then this would be the main part in the middle. Just gotta figure out how I want to do that, and then would be the well, it could narrow down at this point. Well, I guess it couldn't narrow down very much. So, and then would be the conveyor belt. Is it conveyor belt that I want? It's not conveyor belt I want. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out because it's going to be a spinning machine. So there's got to be spindles. We have like 3 spindles, and then they got to feed into the machine like so. Nope. That won't work. Feed into the machine. Here's a problem. Space, space, space. Whew. Is it really that far? I'm going to have to go to my other place and see how this fits. I can't believe that I made a machine that big at the other place. But yeah, they... so only one of them goes out to see what's going on with the guy screaming, and so he goes out and I tell him what he sees, and then he has to come back in and tell the other people what he saw. Only he didn't pay attention to what I said, and so the information he's given them is a little off. But that's the information they have to go with. No, it really is that big. I'm basically making one of these, but kind of in reverse. So I use different colors for that part, which I think I might like better. So let's go do that. Ow. And I'm going to have to go back to my main base, though, to grab some other colors. And so so they try to follow it outside where it went, the thing. It basically killed the guy, burst out of his chest, only they didn't see it burst out of his chest they only knew that it tore him apart because he was laying face down when it happened. And yep, I'm gonna need some gray concrete is what I want. Oops. And now I've trapped myself. And this is just going to push a whole row of this off, I'm sure. And so they so they don't know what's going on. They've got kind of the wrong information, and and so they're trying to figure out what's going on. They follow him out in the snow, and the snowstorm has basically obliterated. Oh no, it worked fine. Obliterated the path, and so there's nothing to see at this point. And all they got is a basic description. Oh man. Uh-oh. It did it again. Ow. And so they got a basic description of what the thing looks like. And they try to follow it, and it's all in the snow, so nothing. They can't see it. They've lost it. The guard is trying to stab the snow to kill it, only all he's doing is obliterating the trail, so there's nothing to follow. And which obviously works great for me, anyways. And so they try to go find it. No, they don't even try to go find it. They decide they looked hard enough, and they're going to go to breakfast instead. And so when they go down for breakfast, there's a group of miners who also got attacked and infected. So the miner leader comes down, and they also were just involved in basically what happened to the miners, which they haven't asked yet, is there was a cave-in at the mines, and they knew the closest place for help would be this outpost. And so they gathered up the survivors and headed for the outpost. And along the way, they got attacked by gnolls, the dogmen, and the slod. And so they are not having a good day. And so but they don't know they got attacked by slod. They just think they got attacked by gnolls, basically. Like the people who got attacked think they were just gnolls. And so while they're at breakfast, the leader of the gnolls comes down and to get breakfast for his people, and there's no reason for this stuff to be up this high. I'm going to lower this all level. He heads back up with the breakfast and starts yelling for guards because 2 of his people are dead in their beds and 2 of the other people are missing, who I think at this point are probably adult slods who were hiding who they were. And so, but they don't know that yet because they haven't found them. And then when they went along to explore some more, they found a tiny one, a tadpole, which I gotta look up. It doesn't matter. They're gonna grow faster than whatever the book says, probably, anyways. But they found a tiny one and they trapped it in the well. And so now they've got a gray tadpole in the well, which I don't even think is how the book works, but who cares? It's my story. And so, dang it, where are those hooks that I made before? I want to see how many I had left before I make more hooks. I know I just saw some. Okay. One, anyways. You think it just learned how to make a hook? Because I don't remember. Nope. Did not. What is that? Like a stick and a piece of iron or something? Do I have iron on me? No. I don't have sticks on me either. Can I do that yet? No. Here we go. Stick and a piece of iron? No. Stick and a piece of iron? No. Dang it. I'm gonna have to look. I don't remember. Anyways, so they tripwire hook is made with. Oh, I need a piece of wood too. Dang it! I just totally used up my piece of wood. So they now they've got two dead bodies and a blood trail leading outside. And so they followed out. Oh yeah, they followed outside. They saw the gray one. They trapped it in the well because it ran past them and went down the well. And they immediately were like, "We're gonna put something over the well and trap it." So I let them do that. Only now they've got the thing in the well. So when they go to open it, obviously now it's gonna be an adult when it comes back out. So I don't know if that was handy. We'll see. And yeah, because I need like 6 of these. Oh, and I need string. Yep. String. Seriously, I don't have any string here? Fine, I'll go over to my mob farm and get some string. I know there's string there. Or I think there's string there. Oh, I don't like that guy being so close to my base. How's this thing doing? 18? We're up to 18. I need to fix that so it works better. What about this thing? Has this thing ever done anything? Nope. Oh, it did. Look, I've got 3 ink sacs in there. It totally worked once. Yay! I need some string. Thank you. And then while they were in there, one of the guards walked back in the guard barracks, and when he walked in the guards barracks, 2 of the sleeping guards had been murdered in their beds, and then there are bloody footprints leading from the murdered guards that match the missing miners, although they never asked the identity of the missing miners, so they don't know, and so all I could tell them was a small set of feet and a normal set of feet in boots, and where they were going, and then once again they're like, "Oh, we gotta quit, we gotta quit, we gotta quit." I didn't know what time it was. I don't have a clock over there by my table, and apparently I need to put one over there because it was like 8 o'clock, and um, so I'm like, oh no, oh dang it, I need one more space in here. And so it was the guy who came barging into the inn, I think I mentioned him. There's a guy that came barging in the night before, after they had talked with everybody, who said that his entire party had been killed, and so he went through and had come outside while it was all going on and yelled, "What the heck is that thing?" And so they immediately rushed outside where he was at, and they're like, "What thing? What thing?" And he's like, "I don't know what it was, but it was big and it headed around the side of the building there." And so they ran past him, and of course he is one of the shapeshifted Slod, and immediately attacked them. Yes, iron bars is actually one of the things I need at the moment. I'm also going to need some wool. So let's take the clippers and let's unload string and bone meal, cyan dye, gray dye, gravel, concrete blocks, gray terracotta, gray concrete, tripwire hooks. And let me go get some wool. And so they got in there and it attacked them from behind. And when we rolled initiative, which is the order you take your turns in during combat, it got a surprise attack on them. Because they thought it was a dude, and so that was funny to me. They thought it was just a guy, and like it was a disguised Slod. And so when they ran past, my sister was like, "I've really got to quit right now." I'm like, "Okay," and she's like, "So what's around the corner?" I'm like, "Well, I can tell you, but you said you wanted to quit," and she's like, "Well, I want to know what's around the corner first," and so she's like. I'm like, and as you run past the guy, this is probably where we should quit. And she's like, "No, what do you mean as we run past the guy? What the heck is wrong with the guy?" And I'm like, "Well, if we keep going, you're gonna wind up in, dealing with the next situation here, or we could quit now because I don't want to quit in the middle of a situation. We can quit at the beginning of a situation, like before it starts, but." I don't want to describe to you what's going on before we get to it. And she's like, just tell me, just tell me. And so I'm like, well, as you run past the guy, his form blurs out of the corner of your eye, and he turns into a blue Slod, and which is a little stronger than they're probably supposed to face. And but I had introduced a couple of NPCs into the area that massively helped during the fight, and I'm pretty sure the one guy did over half the damage to the thing. So, so that's probably plenty of wool. And so they had to fight out with the blue Slod, which actually knocked two of them unconscious, which is the last step basically before death, permanent death, where you have to re-roll a new character. Although, I mean, it's hard to get to the point where you're completely dead. But they did both fail a death save throw, so they were one of 3 death save throws down before they got things handled for the night. So for me, it was pretty fun. I was very excited about running them through this session because I absolutely love Aliens and The Thing, and I was pretty excited to try and run a combination of the two in D&D, and I think it turned out pretty good. My 6-year-old nephew goes, "That wasn't very scary, but it was weird, very weird, and now I don't know who's a person and who's a monster." I'm like, "Yep, we're good." Um, that's exactly where your brain's. And then I'm like, "You guys know you broke rule number 1 in a game like this." And they're like, "Oh yeah, what's that?" I'm like, "You straight up, flat out, without hesitation, trusted an NPC." And she's like, oh, we did, and we ran right past it, and then it turned into a monster and almost killed us. I'm like, yep. And my 6-year-old nephew's like, so is there a way I could tell if it was lying? I'm like, yep. You just gotta say you want to check to see if it's lying, and then we'll roll the dice to figure if you can tell or not. He's like, well, I didn't know I could do that. And I'm like, well, I explained it to you a couple times now, so maybe you'll remember next time. All right, and with that, I'm going to call it a day. I guess let's go back and take a look at what I got done today here. So this is, of course, the textile factory making cloth from the wool from the wool dyeing factory. And this is going to be its main office here once I get it set up. So I guess I've only got one machine because that's all I've got room for. And so what I'll wind up with is 3 spindles of wool, or thread, because they make thread at the dye or at the factory across the way here. I guess that's not the dyeing factory; that's the spinning factory. So this takes the thread from the spinning factory, and then I'll add some more to the machine here, which will make cloth. And so there'll probably be like what I'll do is I'll fill this in here, and then there'll be like a little conveyor here with some kind of cloth of the mix of the 3, and then that will be being wrapped on a sideways spindle, ready to be shipped off to wherever. So, all right. With that, click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one. And I will. That's not totally even the way I do this. I will talk to you later.